Hello, good afternoon. I'm doing another one-to-one discussion with Simon Watts of Wild Presentations. So, good afternoon, Simon. Nice of you to join me on here. So, I'm going to ask, how long have you been a wildlife cameraman?
Oh, blimey, right. An amateur one, I suppose, since my mid-teens, and a professional one since 2013.
And what equipment do you use when you go out filming? I presume you've got an array of equipment that you take with you.
Yeah. So sort of to cover all angles. There's some equipment I leave independently to work, so trail cams. There is a bit of an expertise with trail cams because, as you know, you need to know where to put them. You need to be able to identify animal tracks and certain routines. So you'll leave these trail cams in places that you can hopefully get footage on. And there's GoPros. I use the generic kind of GoPro cameras, not necessarily GoPro itself, but I get wonderful footage from these Chinese generic versions, which I attach to a really long life battery, a huge cell, waterproofed, and that can keep these things going with a high value SD card for two days sometimes.
Well,
it's a troll looking through that footage. You can imagine going through 2 days worth of footage, but sometimes it comes with fantastic results. The key shots, some of the key shots in the Allotment Fox film were from that very small camera, and bearing in mind it only cost £40. If I just show you quickly.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Drone Encounters. Nice to see you on.
It produces images enough to put on a canvas this size.
Cool, wonderful.
So
that's from Frankie.
That's from the small GoPro type camera, which only costs £60, and to have that kind of clarity, to be able to reproduce it that size, it really is very, very, very good. And also then my baby, my right arm, left arm, however you want to look at it, is my Canon.
Oh, that's nice.
XH.
That's not the new camera yet, though, is it?
No, not the new camera, no. But this, I should never get rid of this. It's been with me in so many places. It's 20 times optical zoom. It's a mini DV cassettes, which I know may sound so antiquated now, but I know every part of it in and out. And got a great audio system as well, audio outputs, and everything's just easy. It's all at hand, peaking even, manual to autos, everything. I know where everything is here, and also it's got a manual exposure and an aperture and zoom.
And is it exchangeable lenses on it?
No, it's fixed. It's fixed, but it is a beautiful piece of glass.
Yeah.
It's Canon. You can see it.
Yeah.
It's a stunning piece of glass. As pieces of glass go, it's, you know, of the tape variety, this camera held its own for 7 years, and even now, when they're sold, they're still reaching for over 1,000 secondhand. It's a beautiful piece of kit. So I'll never lose it. It'll be my second camera as soon as I get the new camera. So that's the camera for the hide with a nice Manfrotto tripod with a fluid head.
Yeah.
So you can get nice graduated movements.
And what particular hide have you got then, Simon?
Well, a couple hides. One's a pop open hide, which you can pretty much just take it out of the pack and throw it. It finds a shape.
Yeah.
That's quite small there. So I've got a longer term hide, which if I know there's an area I'm going to stake out for a few days, I'll put that in place, maybe 48 hours, 3 days prior, and then be able to turn up pre-dawn and sit in it, knowing that by that point, everything around me should have got quite accustomed to it. So they're brilliant hides. I mean, I get such a buzz. You get such a buzz from being in a hide that's working.
Yeah.
That the animals, the creatures around you know nothing about your presence. And if you can pull it off, you can keep quiet enough. Yeah. It's a wonderful thing to behold. To have these things come so close to you. It's a great, great thing.
I agree on that, you know, because I mean, I've watched quite a few of your videos, most of them, in fact, and you are one of the best wildlife filmmakers on YouTube, I would have said. You're very dedicated to your profession, and I know you've got this business now called Wild Presentations.
Yeah.
What does that involve?
Well, the whole thing, the whole filming profession, it came about through Wild Presentations. It wasn't anything else that got me here. Originally, I was a nurse, so I was a resus nurse, A&E nurse, and then moved on to community and spent 15 years in the community with a lot of continuity, meeting people again and again, depending on their conditions, a lot of chronic conditions, a lot of palliative care, a lot of care of the dying and the community. But of all the things that we would talk about, and obviously there's a lot of interpersonal skills that go into nursing when you're meeting somebody. The highlight for most of the patients was when I talked about my love for wildlife and where I'd been, what I'd seen, where I was planning to go. To the point that it became an absolute mainstay across the board with people that I was seeing that they wanted to know the next episode, as it were. And it came to fruition that, well, I mean, I could see generic entertainment being provided to sheltered environments, residential environments, none of which embrace this love for natural history. And yet all these people, of course, would have walked hills through the 40s, 50s, you know, in fact, that's all they ever talked about. Time with their spouses on beaches, on long walks, and very memorable times. And yet here they are being institutionalized. No fault generally of the people that are running these establishments, because there simply wasn't a proviso there for them to buy in that kind of entertainment, if you want, or stimulation. So I could see that there was an avenue there for somebody to make wildlife films, to show it in a really big format, sort of 2-meter widescreen, HD, sort of through the window kind of stuff. And it crept along for the first 6 months, and then it absolutely rocketed over the next 12 months, culminating in Springwatch, which was obviously a great plus, being in the studio with Chris. And then from there on, it's growing many legs. I do the Alzheimer's CAFs now. So I attend the CAFs where mild, moderate Alzheimer's sufferers, newly diagnosed Alzheimer's sufferers get there, and I do shows for them. I do shows for the FAB groups, which are the groups that promote able-bodied and disabled people coming together, because there's so few organisations that promote that. Yeah. Able-bodied and disabled people coming together. So I'm getting nice links to big organisations that are seeing this benefit of, and it's got such a power to not only for general people to enjoy in the mainstay, but also when you do address mild, moderate dementia, Alzheimer's sufferers, the wanderers they call them, the people that can't seem to settle.
Yeah.
You put a film on with a lovely natural soundtrack, and they slowly sit down and they watch, and they get lost in it, and the smile comes, and it's just a wonderful experience to see that, and it happens across the board. So.
Oh, yeah. What wonderful idea, though, you know, to take it to those people. You know, I really recommend what you're doing, you know, and encourage you to carry on and build the business up. So what projects are you working on at present then, Simon?
Well, coming out of the fact that it's built up to such a level, the local wildlife trust were taking their roadshow, if you want, out to residential environments, and wherever they went, people were saying to them, have you seen or have you heard of Wild Presentations? So they got in touch, and they said, shall we work together, because it seems that wherever we go, we're hearing your name. Obviously saw my stuff on YouTube. I've been in, and this is Warwickshire Wildlife Trust, and had a chat with them, and now I've got a commission for 7 films to make through them, on the basis that it's the material I can use also for my film. So I'm not wasting my time in respect of wild presentations of the business, and that format. All this material I can use myself. But it's the first time I've actually had a paid commission, which is great. And also it's very powerful because they've got a lot of resources themselves, and so I've now got a privileged access to a wonderful charity with amazing reserves, and all their resources pretty much, which is, puts a smile on my face.
It definitely put a smile on my face as well, being that close to the wildlife, and getting unobstructed views and everything like that.
Yeah, it's great.
Knowledge
is golden. Finding a place is golden. I'm always on a recce trying to find a new place to film, and stories. I put out quite often a call to people in my local area if they have any quirky nature stories. They've got badgers. There's some inner city people here in Coventry and have badgers in the inner city, which is, people know of urban foxes. Well, no one's barely heard of urban badgers, but they're here, So quirky things like that, and that information is absolutely golden if I can get. And so having a reserve providing me first-hand information about what's on reserve, where and when, is brilliant. It's a great partnership.
Yeah, so hopefully we're going to see a lot more films then from you on your YouTube channel, which will keep us all very interested and interviewed.
Hopefully. Definitely, obviously.
And how are you finding YouTube then as a medium for your work?
Yeah, I've started gently. I'm a great lover of the art of camera work. I'm always in touch with a lot of Bristol's BBC Bristol's cameramen and producers. I'm good friends with Ruth Peacey, who works with Chris Packham and worked on the recent BBC Earth. So I like talking to them, and they all say to me that as opposed to Vimeo or the other places, YouTube was a place to show off the film and obviously promote the business. But I've not really exploited it like I want to. I'm really going to head down the road of vlogging. Although there's two there's two very amateurish vlogs that I've done early in the year, but that is something that is really going to come the second half of this year. Is really going to be developed. I'm going to take people out and show them where I set up the hides, how I'm formatting shots, so people can actually live the experience with me behind the hide, and have the little peek as I'm filming whatever I'm filming, and get the entertainment that way. It should be really, really quite interesting, because I don't think there's anybody, and I've looked, and I really have looked, I don't think there's anybody else doing with model. So that's the plan for the second half of the year: get the equipment in, and then really hit the vlog hard, and try and get quite a few subscribers, hopefully.
And what about
Yeah, well, you're the master of live streaming, so I always look to you. I mean,
I wish I was. I think Sean of Expat in Mazarons, the good live streamer. I like doing this one-to-ones.
He's very Sean has it. I don't say he has it easy, but it's very easy to compose a live stream if you're just then relaying what you're reading, the comments on the side. How Sean does it, which is great. It's more like a DJ on a radio station, and he's very good at it. What you're doing is a little bit harder, because there's a lot of interruptions. There's a lot of characters that come on board, and you've got to try and sort of be the, I don't know, police it, negotiate, and peace make, and all kinds of stuff. So yours is a very much more difficult role, having a live stream with active audience, down below.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Sean has it easy in respect he can just pull out comments when he wants to.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to meet up with you next month, and Graham Barker, How well do you know Graham then? I only know him through his YouTube channel.
Yes, same with me. But one thing that struck me with Graham, especially when I was starting the early days of doing this, was his narration. That's what hooked me onto Graham.
Yeah,
it's just how he can find this wonderful narrative. There's such a lovely tone. It's so natural. It's a skill. It's so sublime, and I just fell into it. I became absolutely almost as addicted as I was to period vloggers like Casey Neistat and all the rest of them. I was addicted to Graham Barker because it's just a wonderful experience. You were with him every step of the way, and that's all down, obviously, to quality camera work, but also to this sublime narrative he's got. And I can only hope to replicate that, to kind of replicate that in future. So
that's what I'm trying to do, you know, because I've been videoing since 1989, and I've never enjoyed being in front of the camera. So this is a new experience, and I haven't got the right type of voice for narrative. And when I watch Graham's videos, I think to myself, it's so natural. It's like yours over the Urban Fox. Absolutely brilliant narrative. I just wish I could be like that. But you try to emulate other people, don't you? You get your own style, I would have thought.
Yeah. With Graham, the best I could kind of describe it as was almost like a chat over a cup of tea with your friend.
Yeah.
So you're trying to forget what you're doing, in effect, just sort of forwarding a description to a friend that's just there, whilst you're casually sort of having a cup of tea. That's the way I try to deliver my narration, but it seemed to work at times. It didn't.
Well, when we meet up and we're hopefully we'll get some good footage. I'm going to get him to do the voiceover. Agreed. He can monopolise that. Yeah. I'll get a sound recorder to do it.
Yeah, that'd be quite good actually if we can amalgamate all three footage. My footage, your footage, and Graham's footage, and sort of bring them together to one film with the three amigos.
Yeah. That's something I would like to do. More
cool.
Getting together with other YouTubers and film, because we've all got our own different style of filming, and it would be interesting to see. I don't know whether you ever watched that one, Ridley Scott's A Day in the Life, where people from all over the world sent their clips in. I would love to do something like that, but not on A Day in the Life, but like wildlife, because you look at the great variety of wildlife we've got in this country. If people just did a 5-minute clip and it was sent to all people who were in the group, and we'd all have our different ways of editing, and it would be nice to see how it all came out.
Yeah, it would. No, it's perfect. Yeah, so we can have the three of us. You could have the group shots, and then individually see what we're seeing or what we're filming, and bring it all together. That'd be fantastic. Powerful stuff. I think nature as a whole. There's a lot. I grew up in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, where every Friday at our school we were told to fetch the reel of film from the back room. Generally, it was the RSPB film. There's a treat on a Friday afternoon. We'd set it up, wind the reel of film up, and we'd all sit in class silently with the blinds down, and we'd watch this flaky RSPB 70s film with a bit of flute music and soft focus. And that's how pretty much wildlife and nature was depicted then. It was all very soft focus, and not really appealing, especially to people of my generation. I thankfully had the time in Africa before that, which grew my love for nature. But to everybody else, to my peers, it just seemed very mamby-pamby. It was just soft focus, flute music, very, very light, fluffy, kittens and bunny rabbits and all the rest of it. And that's the one thing I think that people need to, when people engage in wildlife, even if they think they wouldn't have enjoyed it or don't enjoy it, suddenly they pick up on it and they realise it's so representative of life as a whole. It's so vicious, it's so raw out there, and what's going on out there. with every part of the ecology. So the blue tip that's on the peanuts, the reason that it's twitching every 10 seconds or so looking around is because any second a sparrowhawk could come through and rip it from those nuts and take it away. Life out there is so on the edge. There's nothing soft focus about it. There's nothing, you know, light and fluffy about it. It's an adventure, and it's so exciting. If you can just get under the skin of it and realise what's happening, right on your doorstep even, it's so exciting, so enthralling. And I think as a people, I mean, we're only, what, 250 years or so post-industrial revolution. I mean, and pre that, the greater majority of us, you, me, you know, all our ancestors, we would have been peasants.
Yeah.
We would have worked the land. We would have been so intrinsically tied to the environment, to the country, and to the wildlife, because it was our life, you know. And that's a drop in the ocean. It's only 250 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know, which in the scheme of time, and yet in those 250 years, most of us seem to have forgotten, you know. But I think there's a subconscious part there. There's something that still lingers with most people. You know, once they do get involved with wildlife again and realise what's going on out there, the penny drops, you know, and they love it. So, I mean, that goes to show with the BBC Earth, it's the most popular programme of 2016. Was it, or 2017? I forget. Was it early this year or late last year? I forget.
Yeah.
But it's been the most popular programme bar none, and that's everybody from accountants to factory workers to nurses to people who never considered they would love wildlife so much, and yet a production of that value, that quality, has become very easily the best programme of the whole year over every genre, which shows the power of wildlife.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Okay then. Okay then, Simon. We've been on about 20 minutes, and I tried to keep these short and sweet so people don't turn off. They watch them and they're interested. So hopefully I will see you on another live broadcast whenever I do one. I appreciate your one-to-one discussion with me, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
Thank you. No, thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
I look forward to meeting up with you personally, and Graham, and anybody else who wants to come in June.
June the 11th.
Yeah.
In the diary.
Okay then, Simon. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.